Right, I do believe we should be live on Twitch at this point. Hopefully we actually are. Do we get live? I certainly do. So, my god, we are once again here to actually do an episode of JoJo Part 6 Stone Ocean. As we know, actually today, well, right now we're covering episode 4 of Stone Ocean. Probably last episode actually we'll cover for today, because it actually is the end of an arc. And also, if I do any more, I probably might, in theory, pass out, because I ain't built for marathon anime anymore. My brain's built different now. I do 4 episodes at one time. That's pretty much my limit. After that point, I'm like, I'm out, bro. I'm peacing out. I'm going to sleep. So yes, anyway, episode 3 marks the return of Jotaro Kujo, who is, as we know, very, very, very interesting fellow in this part, but considering he actually is an absent person in this whole entirety of this relationship between him and Jolene. Jolene being his daughter. I find it to be very interesting, considering that it's a very interesting way to look at the familial part of the whole entirety of JoJo, which actually has been an integral part since part 5. The idea of family, also part 4 had it as well, but part 5 also. I like how it does in theory incorporate the idea of distant relationships, and actually what it does in theory do. We actually also understand why Jotaro does what he does, because it's not as if he does it because he's like, fuck it, why not? There is clearly a reason to why he actually does in theory vacate Jolene's life, other than possibly what she believes it to be. It's also the idea that, as we actually have in theory established, is that there is a person after Jotaro. So that does then add a lot more substance to why he does what he does. It's not just because he's like, fuck it, why not, essentially. So anyway, let's actually go live. For actually lose all motor functions in my brain. So, watching episode 4. Do not know how many episodes I will do past this point, or not. I'll do 2 episodes per day and actually call it after that point. Because hello, how's it going once again? Because I believe it'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 2 episodes. It's better to do it that way actually, because it actually does in theory allow us to have 4 days, I think. More of JoJo. Don't really want to marathon way through it, because it might be in theory quite a long wait between episodes as well, so it's also why. But yeah, throw 2 episodes for the rest of this week, I think. So anyway, let's actually start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's start this thing absolutely now. Oh yes, what's on recap as well. It's the threatening ball. The threatening baseball. Baseball's been a massive part of JoJo for a very long time, the more I think about it. It's an integral part of part 3. Okay, I didn't mention it before, but JoJo's got an ass. That's how you will know where John Gallier actually is, by the clap of his ass cheeks. No way in hell are those ass cheeks ain't causing noise. Those things be massive. So what fight? Yeah, we're in JoJo, so there's a stand fight now. So we actually know that the one thing Jotaro can't actually withstand is a gunshot wound. That's the one thing he can't actually withstand, because every single time he's actually been like immobile for a while, it's been because of a gunshot. Everything else is fair game. Gunshots? Pfft. Get that shit out of here. Jojo's kind of like, if only we were fish. If only we were fish. love how everyone in part 5 was just like, blood? I don't need this shit. We're just kind of like vibing with no blood. It's a part 6 that Jojo's kind of like, fuck me. I need my blood, bro. I love that. That's amazing. She's thinking. That's what she's doing. She's thinking. How comes Netflix actually always gives you the option to skip an intro? No one skips intros. That's just not right. Why would you do that? But yeah, I mean, stand out so far. Pun, I guess. I thought they would actually color in Gwess because she's already been included, but she's still silhouetted, which is actually quite interesting. Anyway, she's also in the she's down the corridor anyway on the intro, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting though, at least because it does in theory give us a very different utilization of the familial part, considering it is protagonist of one part versus someone else of a new part in a way. Kind of does in theory almost make part 6 a direct sequel to part 3 in a way as well, because the idea of bringing back Kamikaze Doga to actually do the opening does make sense, considering this is by all accounts a sequel to part 3, like in both spirit and also in kind of literally the character that is in this part is a daughter of the main character from part 3. Though part 4 does include Jotaro as well, and so you can in theory argue that it is a direct sequel also. But I also do argue that this actually is the most direct sequel to part 3. So yeah, it's kind of cool in that way that we actually have this very interesting plot and kind of unfolding with protagonist from a previous part versus someone from a new part that is actually integral to them in a way. Actually, what it does in theory bring, actually what perspective that gives us on this character now. I don't think it changes Jotaro too much, it just kind of gives a different perspective on why he does what he does. And also him, technically, a little bit. Yo! We're talking about cheese, what about a walking stick as well? Could be a gun. Oh god, I've heard that voice before from somewhere. I've heard his voice. It's one of those things that JoJo is one of those animators being like, wait a minute, whose voice is that? I've heard that voice before. Do be the ass, man. I'm still impressed he actually is able to just walk around normally and not cause like constant like ruptures in the floor. Yo, wind. Wind's bad news, bro. Just don't breathe. No, breathe. Return to amphibia. He really wants to kill the Joestar. He's hell-bent on doing it. He's like, I'm gonna fucking do it. Honestly, pretty damn sure even if you kill Jotaro, someone else will pop up instead. It's probably Jojo somewhere in the world, everywhere. Ah, see? Interesting. Use of rain, bro. Disorientation. I like how Stone Free is called Stone Ocean. It's kind of cool because it's literally the title of the actual part. Just hit me that his stand is actually CG. Just realized that. I was like, holy shit, it's CG. He returned from the trash dimension. He sure can get around and also return from different dimensions. Whoa! Absolute, like, secret passages everywhere in the world. Thank God Jojo's ass is not so fat he actually can't fit inside the hole. That'd be an issue. So Jojo, I can't go. Why is that? My ass is too fat, I can't fit. Honestly, I would love that was the reason why. So wait a minute, she's going after someone to help them? How's that possible? My daughter's actually becoming a Joestar. That fucking pose though. So I didn't know where he came from. It's like he's hiding in the trash can. How does one get into a trash can to begin with? That should be the first question you ask. Yeah. I know why. When he says yada yada, it still kind of gets me. Gets me right there. So hearing yada yada dawa as well, just gets me every single time. At least she actually acknowledges how the fuck does this kid get around, considering that how does one go into a trash can, get out of it, and actually then continue walking on. Goddamn, Shawshank Redemption, eat your heart out. Oh shit, I just realized I'm actually an enemy stand user. I'm actually limited to what I can do. Fuck. Okay, those pans be on point though. Let's be real, those pans be on point. Just like, just don't breathe. Just don't breathe, bro. It's kind of got an interesting layout, this whole prison. It's like, it's like, there's ways and means to get around everywhere in this place. Hide and seek could be fucking amazing. When you think about it. Where's he going? Where's he going? It's also very counterintuitive considering you actually can in theory drown, but this is the man's ricocheting. Like the man's got it. Man's got the ass. He's also got the thought process. He's just kind of like. How? What? What do you mean? There'll be some other way of doing that. Don't worry. So she thinks this can stop me. So I just wait, bro. Just wait. There's some other way of doing things that's so unorthodox. In approach, you'd be like, what the fuck? Boom. Point proven. Boom. Point proving exactly. Use the air from the pipe. The gas, I should say, not the air. You know what I mean. Yeah, he's probably sitting there going, how the fuck did I not realise that? Sorry, what do you mean I didn't realise that gas actually has a different layer than oxygen, so then it would otherwise not actually, it actually cause me to actually be disorientated and then subsequently lose the battle. What do you mean? I love her. It's called Downtown Transfer. What's the original name for it? I can't remember. Bone. She's so good. Jillian is so amazing. I love her to bits. Jojo's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm here now, sorry. That fucking entrance. Oh, that's incredible. He just kind of went whoop woof. It's like, yeah, sorry, I was late. I will go. I can't get past the entrance. It's so good. I mean, he did manage to actually ricochet bullets, so I'd be kind of worried slightly. Literally. Oh, it's so good to hear it. It's so good to hear it. John Gallier just on the floor, just fucking dead. Oh my god, that's amazing. Joy's an unintentional comedian of the whole entire series. Oh man, I can't get past that. That's so amazing. So wait a minute, you are the protagonist. I am the secondary character in this part. Oh man, I can't get past that entire scene. It's so good. Well, it ain't so secret now, is it? It's the swag, I'm telling you. It's the swag. It's too major. I was gonna say, if John Gallier just fucking flopped on the floor, that'd been the best death in the world. Something seems a bit sus in this place. Kind of ironic, the entire thing is they just didn't move. They're just in the same place. It's like, wait a minute, the kid was right. What do you mean? Something seems a little bit sus. It's a bit sussy. I actually wish that the whole entire arc ended with John Gallier just flopping on the floor. So the fucking Jotaro just torches the entire place. It is kind of cool how it did it, because it does do it very subtly. It does it with jump cuts. The way that the drops keep happening and it jump cuts constantly is indication of that. It's actually kind of well done. So even from the beginning, it is the idea that they were in a dream world, considering that it constantly was jump cutting. The way it felt unnatural, the way it was doing a lot of the things. So as once again, also props to the production, because it actually did in theory heighten the whole entire idea. I still do wish the actual way was reality, though. That would have been so amazing. I wish I would actually have paid money for it. Yeah, I feel like it was one of those things that you realize as soon as the actual event happens that, oh shit, it was there the entire time. It's one of those things that the production do know what they're doing when it comes to like doing very subtle indications. It's kind of cool. It's like one of those things that does go back to the whole entire idea of just show don't tell. So when it actually happened, like, wait a minute, it was there the entire time. Garbage boy real. That's the whole entire TLDR. No, you can't hurt Jotaro's hat. It's his hair. It's against the rules. You actually hurted him. Don't worry, there'll be some arbitrary way that Stan uses like, she won't get out of that. And it's like, I can't believe some arbitrary way got them out of there. What the fuck? Oh man, this don't fucking do it, Netflix. Listen to Duffy. Yeah, so yeah, from a more production standpoint and also sound design standpoint, it's kind of really well done, the episode. Probably once again one of the prime examples of how good the direction is in this show, considering that the entirety of like them being in an unnatural scenario was always there. The idea of actually when John Gallier falls to the floor, it jump cuts immediately to Jolene's perspective. It felt unnatural immediately. Like why the fuck would it jump cut like that? And then when it hits you, you're like, I see. So I like that. There was one jump cut before that point as well. I think it's when Jolene also does the whole thing with the gas. It jump cuts there. So it's one of those things that when they think they've won, so it kind of reverses the whole entire like meme of JoJo in a way, or in shonen anime in general. The idea of when they think they've won, they then lose. It reverses the protagonists actually kind of thinking they've won, which they have won, but then in theory, no, they haven't moved 1 inch. It's on the exact same spot they were beforehand. Because stuff like that goes a long way, actually kind of then give this feeling more of a kind of palpable sense of tension. Like in essence, it could just go the way it normally does, but at the same time, the way the production of doing this, it's heightening the feeling behind a lot of the tension. It kind of heightens it, you're like, holy shit, when it actually doesn't theory happen. Otherwise, it just feels like a standard scene in a way. Like it feels like if you're just reading the manga, but in anime form. But in this way, it feels like, oh yeah, I get it. They haven't moved, and the sound design just improves that whole entire perspective. So yeah, really, all in all, it was a good episode for that reason as well. Not disregarding everything else going on. I like that part a lot because it does in theory add a lot more to the already great direction behind this show. So the color is amazing in the show, but then on top of that, it's just like everything else just works in tandem. The idea of hearing the OST once again as well, even though it wasn't real, hearing the OST once again just kind of makes you go, I love that feeling, bro. Give me more of that. So yeah, I mean, now we're in a very interesting spot, considering that, to my knowledge, before this point, there hasn't really been like a sense of death immediately in JoJo. There's always been a sense like death has always there, even since the beginning of part 4 with Josuke's grandpa. That was an immediate sense of like death in part 4. But it wasn't that sense like anyone was going to die from the perspective of the protagonists. There was always one way of getting out of it. But in part 6 already, there's already a sense that anyone could die. It kind of heightens this idea that no one is safe from part 5. The idea that literally anyone could in theory die at any given point, you just don't know when. So every single scene is very much integral to that whole entire feeling. That feeling of never knowing what's around the corner for these characters, so anything could in theory lead to their demise. I like that, because in this episode, pretty much had that whole entire feeling, like that whole desperation feeling at the end. How Jolene just kind of stuck there, kind of can't get out. She can't use Stone Free either, or Stone Oceans it's called in the actual subs. So it's one of those things. I like that because it does in theory always add more tension to every single fight. It's not just a stand fight. It's more so a fight for life or death. It's also just one of those feelings that get too often in shonen anime, considering most tend to have an arbitrary way of getting out of things, but 9 out of 10 times you just gotta get out of it. But in this one, it's like, yeah, it's an arbitrary way of getting out of it because it's always how Jojo does it. Jojo always does some orthodox approach to defeating a stand user, but at the same time, in this part, it's more or less anyone can in theory just kind of perish. And also Jojo is kind of out of commission completely as well, which is also very interesting considering he's a dude who's pretty much defeated a goddamn vampire. And also a serial killer as well. So he's done quite a bit to actually have this one be the one he's out of commission out of is actually quite interesting as well. So yeah, we'll see the conclusion of, I guess, the conclusion of this arc's already happened, but the next bit of this whole entire arc tomorrow. We'll continue on tomorrow and actually see what doesn't really happen. So I think if I watch more episodes, I think my previous marathon of JoJo will start to come back to me, and actually then I'll start singing the opening constantly. So yeah, tomorrow we'll continue on. I think hope episodes 5 and 6, and maybe even more, depends on what time I actually have tomorrow. So until then, as always, actually have indeed been the driver. So as always, actually have enjoyed the whole entire stream as a whole, and as always, do leave a like on YouTube, it does help quite a bit. If you have then enjoyed the whole entire stream as always, then do leave a sub as well, it does help quite a bit also. If you have then enjoyed the whole entire stream as a whole, then as always, do leave a follow on Twitter, it does help quite a bit. You will then know when streams are live and any other streams I do as well. So until next time, with some more JoJo Part 6 Stone Ocean, still with Sensei out loud. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.